this is what scared me. Josh is hanging on his belt. He's not in his seat. He's hanging on his belt and has that frontal impact.
The flip is the first concern, but then the hit into the wall when gravity is pulling you out of the seat is just different.
NASCAR fans, it's been a wild ride this season. 2024 has been a season of chaos, and not just because of the insane racing, it's the wrecks that really made us hold our breath. Seriously. These crashes were straight up gut-wrenching, the kind that make you wonder if these drivers are superheroes in disguise. But which crash truly took the cake? We've all gasped, we've all cringed, and we've all been left on the edge of our seats watching these accidents unfold in real time. So, what's the worst wreck of the year? Was it the heart-stopping Toyota train disaster at Talladega, where one mistake turned into a massive disaster? Or maybe it was the Daytona wreck that triggered a chain reaction and left Blaney's car flaming and spinning? And what about Corey LaJoie's wreck that had him sideways on the track? Who saw that one coming? We're about to break down the top 5 biggest crashes of the season, so buckle up. Which of these crashes had you shouting at your screen? Let's dive in and relive these wild moments that had us all holding our breath. Are you ready to relive the madness? Let's go. Number 5. The Toyota train meets its end at Talladega. Now, we know Talladega is always a wild card, but this one had drama. Picture this. It's the spring race at Talladega, and the Toyotas are rolling deep. 7 Camrys in a row, all working together. Thinking they had the strategy locked down, they pit on lap 151, all lined up, ready to play the fuel-saving game and gain some positions. But what happens next is straight out of a nightmare. Tyler Reddick is leading the train, and everything looks fine until they hit that bump in turn 3. And that's when the chaos begins. Bubba Wallace, who's stuck behind Eric Jones, can't do anything as he slams into Jones's rear bumper. The next thing you know, Bubba's car is headed straight for the outside wall, and it's a brutal head-first impact.
But these guys are
trouble here, turn 3. It's Bubba Wallace and Eric Jones.
Oh my goodness.
That's exactly what happened. You couldn't do that. They were single file.
Denny Hamlin is in it. John Hunter Nemechek as well. So that is half or more of the Toyotas are taken out in this crash.
What happened here? What went wrong?
A shocker.
You see the back of those cars moving around. Look at that. See the back of the cars moving around? And as they're moving around, they come down lined up, I guess is the best way to put it. It just gets them out of whack.
Now, Denny Hamlin was to the inside. Somebody must have slid down into him.
It was the kind of wreck that makes you hope the driver is okay. Thankfully, Bubba walked away. But man, this crash had us all on edge. Number 4, the domino effect in Daytona. Okay, Daytona's Duel 2 gave us one of the most insane wrecks of the season. And you might remember this one. It was a total domino effect of disaster. Ryan Blaney, Mr. Cool himself, was cruising in the 6th position when disaster struck. Now, it wasn't even Blaney's fault, but that didn't make it any less terrifying. He was trying to make a move on the inside of William Byron when bam! Byron loses control and slams into Blaney's right rear. Blaney's car went flying into the wall, and we were all holding our breath. That hit was violent. But here's the crazy part. This wreck didn't start with Blaney. It was a chain reaction that led to a multi-car pileup. And the kind of wreck that makes your heart skip a beat.
Blaney went to move up, make a pass. Byron blocked him, got him really.
Oh, Byron Blaney
turned
into the wall.
Kyle Busch.
Just like last year, Blaney gets caught up in the big one.
It starts with the Blaney behind William Byron. He goes to make a move. Byron with a big block. Watch this. Kind of a late block. Got him stacked up. Went back to the bottom. Side draft and then just stacked him up behind him.
Kyle Busch got into the back of the 24 and turned him sideways.
You hear him go back to the gas, saving grace.
But in true Daytona fashion, no one was seriously hurt and the race carried on. But it was a real gut check moment for everyone involved. Number 3, the regular season's penultimate race. Now, this one's for all the fans who love the drama of Daytona, because what went down at the regular season's penultimate race was straight up madness. It was one of those moments where you knew something was going to go wrong, and it did in the most spectacular way. You've got Michael McDowell leading the pack, and he's in a great position, leading the race with just 9 laps to go. But then, out of nowhere, McDowell gets loose. His car slides up the track right into Joey Logano's path. Joey had no time to react, and bam, collision. McDowell's car goes airborne for a split second, and for a second, we all thought it was going to flip. But somehow, it didn't. It stayed on all fours. The sight of that wreck had fans screaming at their screens. It was one of those, how did they survive that moments.
Coming up. Oh, they got together at 3.
Whoa! McDowell goes up high. Larson is in it. Reddick's in it. Logano, Wallace, Haley. It's the second big one of the night. Larson will be left waiting and wanting that top 5 again. McDowell went for a wild ride. Let's have a listen to his radio.
Wow, super uncalled for. Yeah, I don't get it at all.
McDowell got out of the car, and while the wreck was gnarly, it was another reminder of just how dangerous this sport can be. Number 2, another one from the same race. Now, if you thought McDowell's crash was the scariest of the race, well, think again. This one was an absolute showstopper. After the debris from McDowell's wreck was cleared up, Austin Cindric and Josh Berry were up front for the restart, with only 2 laps to go. Cindric's got his eyes on the prize, and Berry's thinking the same thing. But disaster strikes with a twist. Cindric gets loose, and bam, he turns right into Berry's car. And just like that, Berry's flipping through the air. It was a flip that had the whole stadium holding their breath.
Whoa! Whoa! Berry's gone, and he goes up and over! Huge hit for Josh Berry. That was wild. There we go. Now the AMR safety team. There we go. There's the thumbs up.
Contact, 2 is getting pushed, and as soon as that car was pushing him, got turned around and went, this is what scared me, because Josh is hanging on his belts.
Everything that went right for the 34 to set his car back on the wheels didn't go right for Josh Berry. Then the hit into the wall when gravity is pulling you out of the seat is just different.
The crazy thing? Berry walked away from that wreck, and the race went into overtime. Number 1, Corey LaJoie ends his race sideways. Now, the number 1 spot on our list is a wreck you won't forget. This one happened on the final lap of the Talladega spring race, and it's a crash that made your stomach drop in the best and worst ways. It's all coming down to the final lap, and Michael McDowell's defending against Brad Keselowski. Everything's tight at the front. But McDowell gets loose once again and crashes right into Keselowski's. McDowell hits the wall, and it triggers a huge wreck at the front of the pack. In all the chaos, Corey LaJoie's car gets caught up and ends up going sideways into the wall.
McDowell blocks him high, goes to the bottom, and look at the energy coming with Gregson. Brad was able to utilize that block, pushes him, and that was 1 block too many on McDowell's behalf, turned him around.
Maintain his foot on the floor and shoot through as mayhem develops behind. The first 4 cars get by unscathed. Reddick, Keselowski, Gregson, and Berry.
And just came across the nose of Brad's car right there. Tyler Reddick never lifted.
Watch the 7 car get up on its side.
Oh, it's
all
upside
the way
down.
upside down.
Underneath Josh Berry.
And it's still sliding on its side all the way down the wall.
Yeah, he's going to finish the race.
Look at that. That is wild. I thought I saw that.
LaJoie, 19th.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
This wreck was the kind that makes you think, how in the world did they walk away from that? Thankfully, LaJoie got out of the car on his own. But the wreck? One of the scariest we've seen in 2024. And there you have it. Our top 5 scariest crashes from the 2024 NASCAR Cup season. These wrecks reminded us just how dangerous this sport can be, but they also showed us the toughness and resilience of the drivers. Thank goodness all the drivers walked away from these accidents. So what do you think? Which crash was the most terrifying? Which one had you at the edge of your seat, eyes wide? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's get this discussion rolling. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe for more interesting stories and updates from everything NASCAR. Do share this video with your friends. Until next time, keep the conversation going on, lucky dog on track.